knocked out the Lakers last night. Anthony Davis injured early again, re-aggravating the groin injury, and the Lakers knocked out by the Suns, who were led by Devin Booker with 47 points. LeBron James eliminated in the first round for the first time in his career. And in Los Angeles this morning, Stephen A. Smith gets up early with us. They're 29 minutes away from First Take. Steve, thank you again. And so let's just start right there at the top. Many people will look at this and say the Lakers championship window closes last night. How do you see it?
I don't see it closing. I don't see it as closing. I see it as closed. It's over.
Over?
No, LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers are not winning another championship in the LeBron James, Anthony Davis era, in my opinion. Because I think Klay Thompson's coming back. Utah isn't going anywhere. Jokic and Denver are not going anywhere. Michael Porter is elevating before our very eyes, and Jamal Murray is coming back. This is a perimeter-oriented game, and up-tempo. And the Lakers were relatively slow this year, and they didn't have strong shooting, and I don't know where they're going to get it. The combination of that, along with the fact that Brooklyn is staying together for at least another year or two, Philadelphia and Milwaukee are coming, and Father Time and LeBron James are coming closer to one another, reaching an accord. Certainly, I think that he can drop 25 a night in his sleep. He's number 2 as far as I'm concerned on my all-time list. I'm not taking anything away from him. I certainly don't blame him for what transpired in this series against the Phoenix Suns. It was about the durability of Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis were healthy, I believe the Los Angeles Lakers would have won this series. But he wasn't. But 20% of the time, he hasn't been available. And for those out there that are going to get into it, because you know if you're critical of today's players, Greeny, we understand. It's not just about basketball. It's got to be about something else. You're talking about the family. You're talking about their personal life. You're talking about everything just because you said, excuse me, they got problems playing the game of basketball for whatever reason. Let me put Anthony Davis on notice right now. When healthy, you are one of the top 5 players on the planet. No one with basketball sense would question the greatness of Anthony Davis as a player. He is a champion on a collegiate level. He is a champion on the NBA level. When he's healthy in the postseason, the brother averages 30 plus on better than 50% shooting. He is that lethal, and he's a defensive presence as well. The problem is his availability. He has not always been available. He certainly wasn't available the last 3 games of this series. And because of that reality is why the Los Angeles Lakers lost. And so now moving forward, with the game being what it is, based and predicated on guard play, perimeter shooting, pushing the ball up and down the floor, etc. The bottom line is, can you rely on a relatively frail Anthony Davis to be that dependable, reliable presence for you? The answer would be no. And if you can't rely on him, that means you have to rely on LeBron, who will be 37 years of age, entering his 19th season in the NBA. And you think that's going to knock off these young Lions that are coming? I don't think so. The Lakers' best chance to get another title in LA in the LeBron James era was this season. It didn't happen. I think it's over.
Okay, so Stephen A., what makes you great is that you are not just an opinionist, but also an insider. And so my question to you then is this. If LeBron and Anthony Davis cannot do this themselves, is there something they can do this offseason? Someone realistically they can acquire that will reopen that window?
I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. You've got Kyle Lowry that's going to be available, and he's an experienced, savvy point guard who knows how to run a basketball team and can hit perimeter shots. But he might cost you about $25 million a year. I don't know what's going to be the case with that. Remember, the Los Angeles Lakers, money was an issue. That's the reason why Dwight Howard and a JaVale McGee were both gone, and a Rondo ended up departing. Remember, in football, what did we love about what we saw this offseason? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Tom Brady, who won a Super Bowl championship, kept all 22 starters. That's what we raved about them. The Los Angeles Lakers did the opposite. Gone is Dwight Howard. Gone is JaVale McGee. Gone is Rajon Rondo. And in this place, you get Dennis Schroeder, who thought he was worth $100 million and now might struggle to get 50, especially when you put a donut up in Game 5. You've got a Montrezl Harrell, who is the reigning 6th man of the year until Jordan Clarkson obviously won it a few weeks ago. Montrezl Harrell was the 6th man of the year. You got him. That was one of the reasons Dwight Howard departed. And you're Frank Vogel, the coach, and somehow, some way, knowing the fragility of an Anthony Davis, you don't prep Montrezl Harrell to be ready to go for this team in the postseason time, and you got him averaging 6 minutes a game in the first round series. That's just deplorable. And so when you look at it from that perspective, we don't know what the Lakers are going to be able to get. What we do know is that no matter who they get, it's not going to negate the fact that LeBron James and Anthony Davis are the cornerstones of this franchise. And one is unreliable because of his health, and the other is great and reliable as he is and may be. He's 37. He'll be 37 in his 19th year in the NBA. Have you seen who's playing around this league and what the hell they're doing? How the hell are you going to sit up there and rely on that? I don't think you can. It's over.
I will give you one lost in round one, and we have a full squad ready to go here. Kendrick Perkins, Zach Lowe gets up with us this morning. Tim Legler back with us here. Big Perk, LeBron has become that rarest of athletes who, with everything he does, it becomes about his legacy. What is last night regarding LeBron James and his legacy?
It was nothing, Greeny. Look, we're talking about a guy that's in his 18th season. And I get caught up in this at times, too, about just his greatness and his expectations and the pressure. But in his 18th season, and I get it, he's 36 years old, but we have to remember the miles, the wear and tear that is on this man's body and the stuff that he had to battle through this season just to get to this point. And he still was a hell of a LeBron James. I mean, he wasn't the greatest of what we've seen, the greatest version, but he still came out there and delivered, you know, and did what he could do best. And that's go out there and try to give you 22 a night on 50% shooting. So I don't want to hear anything about LeBron James. You know, he didn't deliver. He's washed. He's this. He's that. No, this is just a guy we're seeing in his 18th year. What else do we expect?
I think that's fair. And Tim Legler said something similar. But Zach Lowe, you and I talked yesterday, and we were talking about Game 6 LeBron. And that's a decade ago for the most part that we are talking about here. Is it reasonable to think that perhaps that LeBron James is someone we will not see again?
I'm not going there. You know, he is staring down his basketball mortality now. This is 2 major injuries in 3 seasons for a guy who never, ever got hurt. An indestructible tank is now a little bit destructible. But I'm not going there. If LeBron's healthy and AD is healthy, this is a team to be reckoned with. Now, they got some big decisions to make with Dennis Schroeder, who was awful for the most part in this series, with Alex Caruso, with Taylor Horton-Tucker, with the supporting cast. But if those guys are healthy, I am not writing them off yet. And I agree with Perk on LeBron's legacy in this game not really impacting it all that much.
Yeah, and Timmy Legler said something earlier. So, Legs, let me then bring you in on this. If you're the person in charge of making the decisions for the Lakers, are you looking at it as though I'm running this thing back? If we stay healthy, this is a championship caliber team, or do you think that some sort of significant addition or change needs to be made? Legs.
I think they absolutely need to tweak the supporting cast. I think they need to get a little bit younger, more athletic. I think this is a team, when you looked at them last night against Phoenix was playing at a completely different RPM than the Lakers were. Now, granted, LeBron was out there by himself, and I think some of us, myself included, you know, we kind of gave LeBron a benefit of the doubt going into the game that maybe we're going to see this vintage rollback LeBron, you know, that he was against the Warriors when he was doing it by himself offensively, scoring at will, controlling the game, getting wherever he wanted to on the floor, whenever he wanted to. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and that's a testament to his greatness that we did this deep into his career think he could roll it back last night. Obviously, they got hit with a barrage, and it's too much at this stage of LeBron's career to come back from that. And he's not that player anymore, and there's nothing wrong with that this deep into his career. So with that slight decline in LeBron's game, his physical stature, Anthony Davis uncertainty, you need to go out, and I think you need to get some fresher, younger legs and guys that can get up and down the floor. Maybe somebody else that can get their own shot, get their own offense. If LeBron is out of the game, as Dennis Schroeder ended up being a little bit unreliable on the offensive end of the floor. So there definitely needs to be tweaks. You're not going to run it back with LeBron and AD, I don't believe, with just 1 year of age. And again, Anthony Davis most likely to go through some sort of injury again next year, and think you're going to navigate a Western Conference, by the way, that now has to include the Utah Jazz and the Phoenix Suns going into the season as legitimate contenders, along with teams like Denver, along with the Clippers who aren't going away, along with, you know, a team like Portland. Dallas obviously has a chance now maybe to move on to the second round tonight with Luka Doncic as a superstar. You're not navigating the West by standing pat with 2 guys at this stage of their careers.
So, Big Perk, let me come to you, because so much of the talk will be about Anthony Davis, and he went out there last night and he gave it a go. Is criticism of him fair? Is criticizing Anthony Davis for his inability to be the guy to help LeBron get over the hump this season? Is it fair for him to be criticized? Big Perk.
No, it's not, because Greeny, he did what he needed to do last year to help the Lakers to win a fourth, help LeBron win his fourth title and bring a championship back home to the Los Angeles Lakers. Look, this man was coming off a strained Achilles, dealing with a growing strain on top of a hyperextended knee on the same leg. Like, what you want him to do? Go out there in the wheelchair? At the end of the day, I agree with Tim Leggs on the part where he said the role players have to get better, the supporting cast. You look at Dennis Schroeder, a no-show, a guy that asked for $100 million. He was nowhere to be found. Andre Drummond, I said it again, a guy that went on a tour around the league after he was released from the Cavs, debating on where he was going to sign. We thought he was going to come in 14 a night. He had to get benched. And then God knows, God bless America, Kyle Kuzma, okay? It's so frustrating watching him. I can only imagine playing with him. I made my kids quit watching the TV because I didn't want them picking up bad habits on watching the game of basketball, just watching this man play. So can anybody see or feel the frustration of LeBron James not having Anthony Davis and having to deal with Kyle Kuzma coming down and playing the ridiculous style of basketball that he played last night and in this series? Just no IQ whatsoever.
All right, that's strongly said. And so then, Zach, I come back to you. If you're the person making the decisions in L.A., do you feel like you have to think to yourself, Anthony Davis is just too injury prone for me to depend upon him to be the guy who is going to help LeBron get over the finish line in the future?
Well, even if I thought that, what could I do? Who am I trading Anthony Davis for that's going to be anywhere near equivalent to full-strength Anthony Davis? Are we forgetting who made the biggest shot in the entire NBA season last year? Was Anthony Davis's buzzer beater to beat Denver in Game 2 of the conference finals. This guy deserves the benefit of the doubt. What are you going to do? Trade him for what? For who? How are you giving LeBron a better player than that in his prime, at the end of his prime like that? The Lakers do need to change the supporting cast. That's easier said than done. Everything Leggs said about faster, get a shot creator, someone who can take the burden off LeBron, someone who's a little younger, that was supposed to be Dennis